Hola, mi amigos. I am back with another episode of a Lucha Underground review here, and this was a great episode to kick off the show. I haven't done one of these in like over a year. Since the end of Season 2, I believe. I don't even think I did one for Season 3. Got my Pentagon mask now, though. But nonetheless, I just want to point out first, I'm going to add in a few clips from the show here tonight. There'll be like 10-second clips overlaid over my audio. So that'll be added in there. They will not showcase any endings of any matches. That's just going to be to get you to want to watch the show if you don't. But anyways, to kick off the show, first things first, I want to always say, I say this every single episode, Matt Striker, Vampiro, easily best duo on commentary ever on a wrestling show. You can have your Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross. Vampiro, Matt Striker, so much better. Anyways, to kick off the show, we had Tejano and the Mac in the ring. Of course, we'd already gone through, round 1, about 2 after the night of the Cueto Cup this season. So Tejano and the Mac will kick off the show tonight. Very good match, very good match. First things first, I want to point out, though, pretty much every match in Lucha Underground I very, very well enjoy. You will very rarely hear me say I did not like the show. I'm a big Lucha fan, but nonetheless, and of course, favorite was in action tonight, so we'll talk about that. But Tejano and the Mac, very great match. Probably the two biggest, most powerhouse guys that they have right now in Season 3. So Tejano and the Mac both did a great job. Not too big of a fan of the Mac like most people are. I do think he's enjoyable in the ring, but he's not one of my favorites, if you understand what I'm saying. Not a fan of Tejano at all. But like I said, they still had a great match. Suicide dive from the Mac to the floor was freaking epic. For someone that size to get up that high and then to dive is just ridiculous in its own right. So he gets points no matter what every single time he does that. This match is very back and forth. And one thing that I did put down, that I did take note on, is the fact that there was a lot of powerhouse moves in this match for Lucha Underground, which was crazy. Other than, of course, my third favorite, the Machine Cage. Those two are going to be the biggest guys on the show. And Mac's agility is just ridiculous. But anyways, this mashup would end up coming to a close fairly quickly here, as Famous B would come in for the distraction, wearing his damn cowboy hat and everything, trying to get behind Tejano. But nonetheless, he'd come in there, poke on the Mac's back. Mac would turn around, get shot in the face with a damn water gun. And then the Mac, not taking any of that crap tonight, would hit him with a stunner. Of course, that being the Mac's finish, his signature move, if you will. And then right afterwards, though, Tejano would catch him with that set-out powerbomb for the win, of course. And Tejano moves on into the, quarterfinals now? Into the third round. Let's put it that way. Then after that, we get a Son of Havoc bar segment in the back. Like I said, that was a great match to start off the show. Easily a 6 out of 10. Son of Havoc bar segment in the back right after that. And, funny thing is, they ended up playing the same song that I used for Stitches for Universe Mode. Go check that out. But the same song I used for Stitches for Universe Mode, so I was shocked there for a few seconds. Of course, I was loving the segment. Son of Havoc bar segment. He's sitting there, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Son of Madness shows up, starts attacking Son of Havoc. They go back and forth. Son of Madness reveals that Son of Havoc was formerly part of their gang, their biker gang, and he is trying to get him to come back to, what did he say, Nomad, I believe was the name of the leader of the group. And Son of Madness basically says that he's going to give him hell until he does rejoin, setting up probably for their final match at Ultima Lucha, I'm guessing. It'll be Son of Havoc versus Son of Madness probably at Ultima Lucha, I'm assuming. Nonetheless, great segment. Son of Madness ends it by saying, one way or not another, you're going to come back to the club even if it's just your head, which I thought was a great line. Then, of course, we had a Rabbit Tribe segment in the back as well. Another segment playing out a story, which is funny. Paul London and the other guy are sitting there playing, I don't know the Rabbit Tribe names at all, but they're fairly new, so give me a break there. But they're sitting there playing checkers on top of the other guy's stomach because his outfit that he wears is checker pattern, if you know what I'm saying, or chess, whatever. I think it was chess, actually. But anyways, then Masquerita Sagrada comes in, the short guy that's on the show. He's in the white. He comes in carrying a big box, a big present that's bigger than him. Paul London and the other two start freaking out. They're all happy. They're all excited. They get to open their gift. Oh, boy. He sets it down there. Paul London tells the other two to read the card first. They read it. It basically wishes the Rabbit Tribe good luck. So they go ahead and open the box, pull out this little piece of paper, this tissue paper, of course, and the thing's wrapped up in it. They open it, and it turns out to be a rabbit foot. So of course they're all freaking out because they're the rabbit tribe. They're supposed to be rabbits, you know. So they're freaking out because one of their little friends just got his foot chopped off, and Masquerita Sagrada put in a box for him, which I thought was hilarious. Good luck present. Moving on after that, we get Cero Miedo. Pentagon Dark, as he will go one-on-one with Drago, the newest member of the Dragon Tribe, I guess, or the Reptile Tribe is what they are. Which, of course, he was let out there by Thunder Rosa, otherwise known as Cobra Moon, on Lucha Underground, of course. So, great match to kick off great way to kick off the match. They just go back and forth with pinfall attempts after pinfall attempt after pinfall attempt. A notable spot in that first sequence there was when Penta went to snapmare Drago over his head. Drago just landed on his feet out of it, which I thought was sick. After that, Drago goes to whip Penta in the corner, throws him in there, forearm smash. Penta counters with another forearm smash. Then Drago goes to run clear from the other side of the ring, catches him with a drop kick. Then Drago goes again. Penta moves out of the way. Then Penta runs at Drago and just completely swipes his damn leg out from under him. That was just freaking sick. Like, he just comes in there and just right to the back of the leg and just knocks Drago on his head almost. Then, of course, there's the spot to where Drago goes for the handspring kick, I'm assuming, and Penta will cut him off, of course, like he always does with the running drop kick to the stomach when they're hanging upside down, which I think just looks devastating, if you ask me. But then Penta goes for the Penta driver after that, later in the match, and it's countered into Drago's finisher, which he is using on Global Force Wrestling currently as his finisher as well. That's on tomorrow night. Is Drago on the card? I don't remember. But it's the front flip blockbuster is what Matt Stryker called it. Thank God he had a name for it, because I don't know what the hell I'd call it. For the longest time I was calling it a Canadian Destroyer DDT. So, I mean, it's very complicated, but you just seen it there. But nonetheless, then Drago will go for a springboard, of course, again. And this time, of course, they play the classic old Penta. This time catches him into the Penta driver, and it connects for another big 2 count. Of course, after Drago hit his move, Vampiro had to start freaking out. He didn't hook the leg, which I absolutely love when he says that. It's funny as hell, and I just look for it now at this point. But anyways, to sum it up, the match ends when Drago goes to the top rope and goes to hit a Hurricanrana off the top. Penta sweeps out his legs from under him and then hooks his arms while he's up on the top rope and then just pulls him off into the package pile driver. It was sick. Penta moves on into the next round of the tournament because he has Cero Miedo. And he made sure and showed that after the match because it did not end there. Penta would go to break the arm of Drago. Cobra Moon would slide in to try to interfere. Gets super kicked in the face for it. God, that was vicious. She sold that really well. And then of course, so Penta goes back to the arm after Drago. This time, instead of one of the other Reptile Tribe members, he is saved by his former friend, Aerostar, who comes in, tries to save Drago, succeeds, but then Drago goes and attacks him afterwards. After Aerostar just took out Penta, Drago and Cobra Moon exit the ring and leave Aerostar in there to get his arm snapped by Pentagon Dark, Cero Miedo. I'm surprised the crowd didn't start booing Penta then, because that was a little heelish to take out. It's so funny how Penta's like in the middle. His gimmick is literally he does not give a damn about anyone else. He just has Cero Miedo. And if it doesn't benefit him, well, he doesn't really care. And if you're not going to help him, and even if you do help him sometimes, he's still going to attack you. That's why he's so interesting. But anyways, Aerostar gets his arm broken, so that was interesting to see a bit of a continuation in that storyline. Then after that, we get Penta and Katrina backstage. Cueto Cup matchup, they talk about how Katrina starts talking about how last year Pentagon attacked Mil Muertes, braked his arm, took Mil out of action for so long, cost him that huge opportunity at the title. Well, she says, and they don't forget. Basically, they're setting up a match, hopefully, in the 3rd or 4th round with Penta, El Cerro, Miedo in a rematch. And then, of course, right after that, we had the main event to close the show, as it was Rey Mysterio, who would go one-on-one with not Penta, we were just talking about Penta. He would go one-on-one with PJ Black. I'm trying to fix my mask, that's the problem. Okay, anyways, he would go one-on-one with PJ Black in a great match. Of course, that was the big match that was advertised from last week, of course. Very interesting start to the match. A great set of combo moves back and forth from the two, much like the previous match. One big spot in the match to start it off, though. Rey goes for the 619 early on in the match. It gets caught with just a jaw-shattering super kick, dude. PJ Black literally just freaking broke Rey Mysterio's jaw after that. It was ridiculous. Rey sold the shit out of that, so props to him. Spot later in the match, of course, then you got PJ's old goes for the springboard from the ropes. Rey Mysterio catches him out of midair with a drop kick, big pop, 2 count. Rana off the top. Rey Mysterio goes for a Hurricane Rana off the top rope. Not Jack Evans. God damn it, PJ Black. There we go. That's who I'm talking about here. Jack Evans did come out later, though. Spoiler alert. Rey Mysterio goes for a Rana off the top. PJ is able to hold on out of it. Rolls off the top. Holds on to him in midair. Then is able to land with him upside down. Then turns it into a damn Styles Clash. And yes, he actually hit the damn Styles Clash. Matt Stryker goes, Faith Breaker, otherwise known as a Styles Clash. And I'm sitting there laughing my ass off. He actually did a Styles Clash. But, anyways, later in the match, PJ Black goes for a Tornado DDT. Rey Mysterio counters into one of his own. Hits the referee Marty Elias in the head. Knocks him over, of course, the old ref bump spot. Mundo comes out. Goes to count the cover for Rey Mysterio. 1, 2. Not today, little Ray. Worldwide Underground, bitch. Johnny Mundo then goes and hits Rey Mysterio and starts beating him down, pummels his face in. Then, of course, out comes Jack Evans, all the Worldwide Underground out there. Double suplex combo with a super kick from Jack Evans to Rey Mysterio. He's laid out. Worldwide Underground poses in the ring. Yeah! And then all of a sudden out comes Dragon Azteca for the save, finally. And he slides in, does the pop-up around the world Rana to PJ Black after Mundo elevates him up. Then Mundo goes after Azteca. Azteca pulls down the ropes, goes to dive to the outside. Once he bounces up, guess who's there to grab his feet and take him out? Taya. She takes out Dragon Azteca. Then, of course, Rey Mysterio is able to kick out after they pull PJ Black onto him. Marty Elias 1, 2, the big dramatic 2 count before Rey Mysterio kicks out. Crowd starts popping. This is awesome. Great freaking playthrough. Great chemistry between the two. Not only that, but great freaking ring psychology throughout this match. And they did very good throughout the match of building up the hype, you know. And then Rey Mysterio ends up getting some more help from Dragon Azteca when he takes a steel chair and chases off the rest of the Worldwide Underground. PJ Black is left alone with Rey Mysterio in the middle of the ring now. What's going to happen? I wonder what. PJ Black sets him up for a razor's edge. Rey Mysterio able to fight out of it, whips him into a Rana, into the ropes, right for the 619, and follows up with a beautiful frog splash for the 3 count. Rey Mysterio survives the Worldwide Underground tonight. Can he do it, though, going forward until 4 weeks from now when he faces Johnny Mundo for the Lucha Underground Championship? And this mask is just not fitting right now. But huge freaking show tonight. Like I said, I would have gave the first match easily a 6. Easily. It was a great match. And the match after that with Penta and Drago, I mean, I'm a bit biased when it comes to Penta. I mean, I would have rated it an 8, but to be more fair, it was probably a 7.5. So I gave that match a 7.5. That's my rating. Of course, I'm a Lucha fan, so I'm going to rate it higher than someone who doesn't like it, but still. And then the main event, PJ and Rey Mysterio. Now, that match was just full-on great. PJ Black is very underrated when it comes to Lucha Underground. He's always been very underrated, though. I mean, what am I kidding? He was definitely underrated in WWE, but now in Lucha Underground, he's better. He's freaking awesome. He just main evented the show with Rey Mysterio. And I would have gave that match at least an 8, an 8.5. That match was good. The ending was a little set up. It was a generic ending, but it was a great match overall. Now, I don't think this week was better than last week's Lucha Underground. In all fairness, though, that did have Marty the Moth trying to gouge Phoenix's face off